and I can see my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Good morning, everybody. What's up?
It's a lay.
We got. Is this? What are these called again?
I
They're called. You said lays.
I think they're called lays, right?
Something like that. Flowery necklaces.
Hawaiian?
I feel like
Wait.
we should Google this.
Wait a minute. Why are we wearing these?
Well,
Because
we're
Paul
celebrating
said
National Iced Tea Day.
National Iced Tea Day.
Yeah, that's the actual day.
That is. That's why Josh's camera isn't coming. Josh has ordered a camera like the one
Yeah.
that we film on, and they told him it wasn't going to be here because it's a national holiday.
That's right.
And we researched it, and the only holiday that is today that is legitimately worth a camera not coming in is National Iced Tea Day. Congratulations.
There you go.
Get
I like
yourself
iced
an
tea. I like sweet iced tea though. I feel like sometimes, depending on where you go in the country, if you order iced tea, you might get disappointed.
Yeah.
You might wind up getting some tea with no sugar in it. We can't have that around here.
Right.
But I have a confession. I do drink unsweetened tea, but I put sweetener in it. But it's just not sugar. So, but,
Ed Cherry, good morning to you. Hey,
Yes.
Josh, stick your head out the window and shout so we can find you.
yeah.
LOL.
Hey,
Who's that?
it's called a lay party necklace.
Oh yeah.
lay
party necklace.
It's like LEI.
That's
I feel like these are
Cherry.
found in tropical islands. Like you get off of a boat or a plane and they put it around your neck. That's what I've seen.
That was
What a wonderful
There
name.
you go.
Mercedes Benitez?
Yes.
Benitez?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Melanie Edgerton, Jessica Lemon. I love those photos from over the weekend. You had a nice little date night with your hubby. That looked cool. Had some sushi. That's what I'm talking about. Good morning.
We're getting everything called up today, man. We have got a great, awesome devotion.
Ed Cherry says, these cameras look like you guys have lost weight. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that,
you.
Because I really don't feel like I've lost any weight. I feel like I've gained weight.
I moved
But
the
thank
lights
you.
around a bit. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. Indeed.
Brandon's beautiful.
Donna
You ever just look
Crabtree.
at the picture and say, Brandon, you're beautiful.
Ha 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 ha. Rudy Oxendine, good morning, sir. How are you? What are you doing, my friend?
Bob and Deb said they can't wait for today's devotion, man. Yeah, it's an exciting devotion today, man.
Indeed.
Brandon's starting a new series. Whoa, look at that big blue cup.
Blue.
Brandon's starting us on a new series of Old Testament leaders of faith, not just men of faith, because we're getting into Esther
Yes.
in a few weeks. Old Testament leaders of faith.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's talking about being bold
Yes.
in your faith. And I'm excited about that.
I like it, man.
Yep.
And, you know, as always, I feel like these devotions come at no greater time. I feel like we need them.
Yeah.
He writes them at the perfect times. So, and I'm not the only one who feels like that. I saw my aunt yesterday. I was back home visiting family, and she walked in and she was just like, "Oh, I love y'all so much." And I was like, "Oh," I'm just sitting there, kind of like twisting my toes, and I'm like, "Stop it," you know. It's cool though to hear that.
Oh,
So she should be watching this morning too.
Yeah, speaking of the JLD, hey, y'all want to see something cool? Watch this. Corey's about to drop the weather on y'all.
Oh yeah. So if y'all were wondering, here in the Winterville area right now, it is currently. Whoa! Look at that.
That happened.
I like
That's
it.
a real
That's
thing.
what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
So there you go.
WITN.
Right now it's currently about 73 degrees in the Winterville area. Some more rain will be expected today. Man, Greenville got hit with some nice little flooding downtown.
Let's go with 60%. We're going to go with 60%.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
60, then 40, then another 40.
A high of
and then
87.
20 Thursday, yeah.
That's
Currently,
cool.
there's no telling where
But-
that's going with North Carolina weather, though.
You hang on tight because Friday's coming, folks. It's going to be sunny. Look at the sun.
Yeah, but
Just
you know
look
something?
at it.
But you know, I feel like I could be a meteorologist.
Yeah.
Because you know what I would say? Yeah, this is it. And guess what? It's all subject to change. That's what I feel like. I feel like I could do that. I just feel like I could. I'm not trying. They have a hard job, but I'm just saying, they have to
Look what's
predict the
coming
weather.
this weekend.
What? Sun. Father's Day.
Father's
yes.
Day is coming this
Yes,
weekend.
indeed, it is.
Now, I'm not trying to brag,
All right now.
but I'm a father.
Oh, yes, you are.
And my kids have got something special. Special in store for me. I feel it.
Yeah.
My wife watches.
Uh-huh.
You know, my wife's one of the family. She watches. And I just feel like they're going to do something special for me.
I feel like they should do
Forward to
something
it.
special for you.
I
A
feel like they
special,
should, too.
a special day for a special man indeed. This
Yeah.
is- I am not a dad, but I'm sure we will be spending Father's Day in Tarboro with my family and hanging out. My stepbrother's coming down. But yeah, if you happen to forgot that it's coming up on you, don't forget it's going to be here Sunday. Make sure you get your dad a nice gift and treat him nice. Yeah, we got all of that going on. We got a great devotion
We
coming
do
up.
have a great devotion coming
The
up.
weather is, like I said, you know, we got a lot of rain recently, and I know downtown Greenville had some flash flooding. Hopefully that will get on its way out of here, because that's never a fun thing, having to drive in that and close off streets. I can tell you that's a pain in the neck. But how's everybody doing this morning? You know, this is our time to get together and chit-chat before we hit our devotion, have our podcast. Mama D, what is going on? Yes. So what did you do this weekend?
I did you know what?
Tell
we
me
had
what
a
you
wonderful
did.
weekend. My question to y'all, our question to y'all, I love this weather behind us. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Our question to y'all is this. How's the stream look today?
How does the
Myra says that she's, you know, in and out, but everybody else seems to be doing good. Sounds like Myra's got a suddenly problem. So let us know how the stream is looking
You hard
for y'all.
line, yeah, we're
Well,
hard
Jared,
lined in. So.
Jared Ryan is in a tin building right now, so that's why he's not getting it. He's
you
sitting
go.
over here next to us. But let us know how the stream looks before we start the podcast. It looks pretty solid what we're sending out.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much, Donna.
Donna says it
Donna,
looks great.
I'll be in Canada in like a week and a half. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I did find out recently, though, I didn't have to get my passport. I've been told that, it might have been by you, but then I had been told that I needed to get it. But I got it anyway, so at least now, you know, if I ever plan on going out of the country now in the next 10 years, I'll be set. So, but yeah, but what did you do this weekend, man?
Yeah, so this weekend we had a great weekend. I don't know. I can't even remember what we did. Okay, we had a graduation party. Went to
Okay.
a graduation party in Kinston.
Nice.
In the middle, like, of nowhere. Melissa held a baby deer.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Baby deer?
that's a thing. Something happened to the mom. It wandered up on the house, and Melissa held it. We got some pictures that's on Melissa's phone of
Really?
her holding, like, a phone.
That is cool.
It's like 2 weeks old, and it's got all the spots on it, and she's holding it, and it's like, bah,
I want to see that.
bah.
But I
But
bet that
it was
was,
really
that was
cool.
precious.
Yeah,
we
the-
saw a little rabbit in our yard yesterday. That's
Yeah.
a little strange. I don't know if I've ever seen a rabbit in our yard back home in Tarboro. I tried to feed it some lettuce, It didn't work out.
Did it run away?
It did. It ran away, but I think that I could have got it to eat from. I think I could have got it to eat lettuce from my hand because it would look like it was very hungry. But yeah,
That's a
whatnot.
reindeer. Good job, Jared.
There you go. Heck yeah.
Rib
But no,
fest.
Yeah, we had went to a birthday party all the way up in I guess it's technically South Mills, North Carolina, right on the Virginia border, up past the Great Dismal Swamp. We went up there. There's a big swamp up there. You know what I mean? So we were there for my cousin's my girlfriend's cousin.
Yes.
Her 8th birthday. It was pretty fun. We had a lot of cake. They always cook good food because that's the second birthday I've been to at their house. It was phenomenal. I had a really good weekend.
Yeah.
Really good.
One of our followers, Macy, Charlie had her birthday. This weekend we had a birthday party right downstairs, which is where these came from.
Yeah.
And
we had these.
It was a blacklight birthday.
I'm gonna cover up my yawn.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, y'all were there. It was cool. We had a blast. So everybody
what
was
I'm
wearing
talking
neon.
about.
You painted yourself up. It was
Neon.
a good time.
Yeah. You posted. So Donna posted earlier that we were at Rib Fest this weekend. That's where they were.
I'm waiting for
There
her.
is a Rib Fest.
Yeah, I'm waiting for her to tell us exactly what a rib fest is.
Well,
Where
it
you
sounds
eat
like
tons
we.
of ribs,
Yes.
bro.
It
No,
sounds like
I hear you, Josh. I hear you
Like,
saying
that's
that.
common sense.
I feel like I should have gotten an invite to this. That's what I feel like.
Different
Did-
companies cook barbecue, ribs, and chicken.
Yes.
That's simply rib fest. What else does it
From
sound like?
maybe it's where people go around and tickle you on your ribs, Josh.
There you go. Maybe.
Have you ever done that?
So yes. So
Bruh,
wow, this
bruh.
sounds like it's just up
That's
my
a
alley.
little- that's a
Miss
little
Donna
weird.
says different companies cook barbecue ribs and chicken, and they all have trophies from competition in front of the stand.
Oh.
That is so cool, man. That sounds like the kind of competition I want to go to. I love me some barbecue. I wonder how much different though the barbecue is up in Canada versus how it is down here.
Vinegar
Virginia.
base or ketchup base.
But you see,
or Hawaiian.
I've had. Well, no, they do like more pulled, don't they?
Pulled
So
pork?
we chop it up down here. Chop,
Yeah.
chop. And then like depending on I guess if you go out west or up north, they pull it like they have it pulled. We like it chopped, but to me it's all the same. Because if you put that vinegar, I've had it pulled, but it's still vinegar based and it's
Yeah.
delicious. I love it.
She said the winner or the one they ended up choosing was from Alabama.
Really?
All the way up in Canada.
See, that's the thing. Alabama, I don't really know that. I've heard of, I bet they have great barbecue, but when you think barbecue, you think North Carolina, you
Yeah.
think Kansas City, you think Texas.
Yeah.
Alabama must be making some good barbecue behind the scenes that we ain't known about.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that, and we've got a ton of people.
Yes, we
Ton
do.
of people. Jessica Rapp,
Watching
Robbie
with us.
Strayer trying to get that diamond back. Robbie
Yes.
Strayer. He said it's similar to Lobster Fest at Red Lobster, but with ribs.
With ribs.
He's mocking me.
That's
He's on my squad.
Jessica Rapp says we watched our oldest graduate.
He's
from
not
South
on your
Central.
squad, Josh. You don't have a squad.
He's on the squad right now.
Yeah.
Managed not to cry, says Jessica Rapp. They watched our oldest graduate. That is so cool. A lot of people graduated over the weekend.
Yes.
That was pretty good. I know there's some happy parents out there. If you're one of them, drop their name in the live stream. Let us know who graduated. We'd love to give them a congratulations and a shout out. Because now they go off into the world or to college, or which is kind of the same thing. you know.
Or they stay at home.
Or they stay at home for a little while.
You got Josh.
Who knows?
We got one of the students in my youth group is going into the Marine Corps.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
When's he going?
Not until January. They were backed up until January, but he's leaving to go
There you go.
in January.
Well,
You know what? I heard something this weekend. It was one of these motivational speeches. And tell us what you think about this. But it was like everybody keeps saying the phrase "working for the weekend."
working for the
You know,
weekend.
just trying to make it to the weekend. And can you imagine? Retirement gets there, and you've spent your whole life just work for the weekend. You're not actually enjoying Monday through Friday, and you're like,
Right.
if I could just get to the weekend, and then you do it for 30 years.
Yeah.
I just got to the weekend for 30 years. Now I get to retire.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride, folks, because find if you're not. If I don't even know what to say here, but
No.
if you're not enjoying what you do, find something that you enjoy.
So that's a good point you bring up. So if anybody watching on the live stream, are there any retirees that are watching? Comment. Let us know you're retired. Let us know where you worked. And because the reason I'm asking is because the gym that I go to in the roll at, there's a gentleman there who rolls. He's very good. He's a purple belt.
Yeah.
His name's Matthew, and he is retired. And all that man talks about is how wonderful retirement is. And he talks
Here
about
it's
that
good.
all the time. He talks about literally Monday through Friday. He just eats it, wherever he wants and does whatever he wants. He comes in and he goes to the gym, and it sounds like the coolest life ever. And I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about how some people are looking so forward to retirement, but then when they get retired, they feel bored. He
Yeah.
doesn't seem to have that problem. But I guess it's twofold. I guess there's two sides of the spectrum. Either you get to retirement and you love it, you're just like you're content with just doing whatever you want to do, having an open week, and then you feel like, oh, I need, like a lot of people out here are getting a side job and
Yeah.
whatnot, all that good stuff. So I don't know what's better because I got a long, long time before I can even think about being retired.
You know what I just realized?
What did you realize?
We're wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, somebody asked that earlier. Somebody asked, they said, did y'all plan on wearing the same shirt? The answer
No.
is no, we did not. But I will tell you that orange seems to show up better with our background, so we'd like to try to wear darker colors. So that's pretty much was my thinking. I don't know if Paul was thinking.
You got an
the same
eyelash.
thing. Where? This is not a... Oh, whoop!
Up.
Get it! Get it!
Up.
Make a wish!
Nope, it's not here yet.
Oh,
It's still
goodness
on your
gracious.
face.
Well, get it! You gotta pinch it, bro. You're
Well,
just, all this
I don't
stuff.
want to hurt you.
No, just get it. Just use both fingers.
Oh,
Get it.
no.
Oh man, you knocked it off.
No, it fell into your beard. Now I've lost it. It's
All right,
there
just
somewhere.
don't worry about it. We had a great summer from Johnny
I'm
Jones
gonna make a wish
on
anyways.
Pentecost. Make a wish.
Close your eyes.
Don't you make wishes? You make prayers.
I don't
up
want
in
to blow in
this
your
piece.
nose. Ready?
Go. Woof.
There we go.
That's not
And it's
weird at
gone.
all.
All
That
right.
is not weird at all.
I'm excited.
Oh, man.
Jessica Rapp, how was your weekend? Jared Ryan, man. Good job. We went to Conley's graduation. So all the local high schools go to ECU for their graduation. So Conley, South Central, Rose, and they got them back to back to back to back. So I went to them, and that was exciting.
Yeah.
Like, they get them in and out. There ain't no long speeches there. It was 45 minutes. You're in and you're out.
Yeah, that's my graduation was pretty much the same. You don't, just keep it moving, and they always say, hold the applause, please.
Why do they even say that anymore?
That's not gonna work. I mean,
Yeah.
people are just gonna be so excited that their kids are graduating. I mean, I can get it. You don't want to have it but so long because it can't get in the way of the graduation. But ain't nobody gonna hold their applause. I feel like that's kind of just like a wasted effort right there.
It made it through the first person. They were like, hey, pretend that, and they actually said it, we would like to hear our names, so pretend that you're graduating and you want to hear your name, so please hold your applause until the end. The very first person who went across, everybody started yelling, and it was like, well, that, and there's only 170 more people to go.
Yeah,
so,
really.
Yeah, it took
See,
a
that's
while.
what I had.
but
I had around 170 in my graduating class. Not very many. So
I
how many
graduated
was
51.
51?
Small town.
51.
I grew up next to a road called Pity My Shoe
Pity
Road.
My Shoe Road. Of course, there was only 51 graduates.
Graduated with 51
Oh
people.
my goodness gracious.
Levels Road, Gum Swamp Road.
Yes, there's a Gum Swamp Church Road around here.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
There you
It's
go.
somewhere around here. Oh, your parents said they're retired.
My parents are retired. My mom retired from a daycare.
Yes.
She stayed longer. How long was it, Ma? I think it was 35, 36 years.
36 years.
It was somewhere. How long were you there for? But she was there for a long time. If you're retired, let us know.
Hey, my mom's watching. Mama, good morning. How are you? How long do you have until you retire? That's what I want to know. Because she can't have long. She's been at the hospital for a long time.
Carrie Nicholson says Skeeter Pond Road.
Skeeter Pond Road? What is that?
I'm
What
guessing
is
it's
that?
the name of the road she grew up on.
My goodness gracious, man.
Try.
Hog Swamp Road. That's a good one. Hey, let's just turn this last few minutes of the first segment into name the weirdest roads you know in North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean,
You have to be legit names, though.
I don't think any road out there is going to beat Pity My Shoe Road, though. I don't
No.
think it can.
There's something out there that can beat it. That can contend. I'm telling you, there's some weird names. There's some weird names of towns and cities in North Carolina. Like, I was looking on the map yesterday because I got a big trip coming up, and I was just kind of looking at places we could stop along the way. And I was really, there's just really weird names of towns all across the United States.
Yeah.
But definitely here in North Carolina, they exist. Some weird names.
Possum Trot Drive. Now that one might beat Pity My Shoe Road.
Yeah.
Possum Trot.
There you see that right there. There's no asking. That definitely does. That beats Pity My Shoe Road. Possum Trot Drive.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm excited about today.
I am too, man. Always excited, dude.
There's some devotions that we like look forward to, and then there's some devotions, and Brandon's watching, and we told him that we like really, really look forward to because
yes,
like this one, man. We're talking Tara Stanton. What's up? This one we're talking about
Seed Tick Neck Road. One
That's-
that we know of.
Yeah, we do know of
Rudy
that
tells
one.
us Seed Tick Neck Road. That's definitely a weird one.
Did you get the text that I sent you about? Y'all want to hear something cool? The band. I don't know if you know the band for Building 429. Building 429.
They want to come hang out with us.
They're gonna come hang out with us and shoot guns with us.
shoot guns. Pew pew pow pow. They want to with us?
With us.
Oh boy.
They apparently are avid gun enthusiasts.
They like
And
shooting
they
guns.
also watch the show, which if back in April. Was it April? Yeah, back in April they started following Join the Beyond Limits family, and so Building 429 is gonna come shoot guns
That
with
is so
Paul
cool.
and Corey, and then be with us on the show and hang out with us.
We got to make that happen soon, man. Like, I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
amazing.
they're from the coastal area, right?
Yeah,
Are they not?
Moorhead.
Moorhead.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so cool. So, yeah, that'll be a fun day for sure. Hey, hold on now.
you see it? I see it.
Michelle Ignatowicz. Yes, I think I got that right. She said Live Oak Hog Company Road in Pink Hill. No, it's probably county. Live Oak Hog County Road in Pink Hill. Pink Hill, that's on the way to Wilmington. That's a small little community. Let's see here. But yeah, no, I'm really stoked about that. Build 429. That's
Yeah.
gonna be fun, dude.
We're gonna shoot guns.
I cannot wait to do that.
Look at that. I like this one. Down at Crabtree, that is really, really, really cool. 3 people in Canada are watching us right now.
Are you
Her,
kidding me?
Joanne, and Avis.
Really?
All from church. Morning, Avis. Morning, Joanne.
Michelle, I did my best. It's 3 people from Canada. I cannot wait. So I'm seriously, I'm going up there and I was looking at YouTube videos yesterday about places to eat and things to see and do, and I'm just so stoked. Like, I can't wait to see the falls and all that. That's gonna be a long drive too, buddy. That's gonna be a long. It's probably
What's
the
next-
longest time I've
next
ever
month?
driven. No, man, that's like a week and a half. So a week from this Thursday, I'll be leaving. Yes, man, I'm excited, bro.
I'm excited for
I'm
you.
excited.
It's gonna be
Hey,
good.
Ignatowicz. Hey, I bet I got it right that time because you spelled it out for me.
Unless it's Ignatowicz.
Ignatowicz. That's what I said.
Am I allowed to take her spot?
Rob Williams, speaking of retirement, you mentioned retirement, and Robert Williams pops up here. How about that?
Hey, I show up late to Lunch Road. Corey travels that road. So I left Brian White hanging. I showed up a little late to lunch the other day because I had to respond to a call. I can't help it. That dude's so funny.
Downtown Greenville, for those in Canada and all over the place, we live in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And that place flooded. It was like a solid downpour for about 30 minutes, and it went underwater
Absolutely.
like that. I mean, like you couldn't see the road at all. It was
Yes.
pretty nasty. But
That's right.
we're talking today. David,
Coach Wotecki, what's up, man?
you remember when dude used to go crazy?
I
Remember
did,
that,
man.
Chocowinity?
I know, man. You used to go nuts.
Do it again.
No.
Coach Wotecki is here this morning. You need to come
Here you
by
go.
soon.
Scream it.
We're gonna
You
have
got it. Just say Coach.
Coach Wotecki. No, but seriously, we gotta
There you
have
go.
him come by. I don't know. We seriously will have to move some furniture around if we want to get him up in here.
Hey.
We'll have to move some furniture around.
Scott Johnson is donating a couch for us.
Are you
I
serious?
wouldn't lie about that.
Scott Johnson's the man. I don't doubt that one bit. He is always trying to do something for us, trying to bless us.
We're sending Donna a finder's fee.
Are we really?
Yeah,
Love
we're gonna have
Greenville.
to. Yeah, keep
That's
spreading the
what's
word
up,
up in
man.
Canada. We are in
Yes.
7 countries now. I'm excited about today's devotion.
I am too.
Before
man.
we get started, can I tell you a story? It's
Let
a
me
really,
hear it.
It's a really funny story, and
Come
I'm gonna
on.
show y'all a picture.
Show me a picture.
So this young chap right here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh yeah, you can see it. Look at
Oh,
this
yeah, perfectly.
guy.
What's up with this guy, man?
Look at his green shirt.
Tell me what happened with him.
This young guy right here. This young guy right there that I just showed you was introduced to Brad Sapp. This dude, Brad Sapp, is a business owner.
Business owner.
A business owner.
Okay.
And he goes into his business one morning and he thinks it's haunted because when he opens the door at 5 a.m. to his business, he hears, "Get out of here. Get out of here." And the dude legitimately thinks, because the alarm hasn't sounded, gone off or anything, he had to, and so it's this dude, he hears this whisper, "Get out of here. Get out of here."
Right.
So he gets out of there. Like, he's freaking out.
Yeah.
He's like, my place is haunted. This is weird. So he calls his wife. And later on in the day, they return. He thought he was going crazy. The wife thinks he's going crazy. And now at 10 a.m.,
Yeah.
so it's been about 7 hours later. It was about 4 or 5, 3 o'clock. 10 a.m., they get back there, and the wife's there.
Right.
And the no longer is the voice saying, "Get out of here," but it has changed to "Help me, I'm in the chimney." This dude right here had climbed into the business. He was trying to break in and steal some stuff, but
Yeah.
he got stuck in the chimney.
Right.
And he thought he could get out at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
At 10 a.m., he had realized that he couldn't get out, and he was stuck, and he was very thirsty at that point in time.
So that dude literally told them to get out,
Yeah.
and then he needed help later. That's
Yeah.
pretty bad, because he was legitimately trying to break in through the chimney.
Well, he said he was playing hide and go seek.
Oh my gosh.
His story was that he was playing hide and go seek, and he fell into the chimney, and he couldn't get out.
Wow.
He went to
Fell
jail.
into the chimney.
He went to jail.
That makes sense.
A grown man playing hide and go seek.
I fell into the chimney.
He fell into the chimney. He's covered all up in soot and everything. Where's my picture in the background? Well, we're gonna put you right here.
Robbie.
Over,
Yes.
Over this book right
We'll
here.
christen that Robbie Strayer's photo area.
Yeah.
You just hold right on for that, Robbie. We'll be right back with you on that.
Donna said, "You'll hear a lot if you go to Canada."
A?
A.
So, okay, so like, I'm going to try to put that into a sentence. So would it be like, oh, you're trying to find your way to the Burger King, eh? Like that? Would it be that? Is that correct?
Is that correct,
Is
Donna?
that correct usage, Donna? I felt really silly saying that.
I don't know why, eh? just gotta not. I don't know. How was y'all's weekend,
at the end
eh?
of every sentence.
Is it-
Hey.
Yeah. Y'all have a good weekend, eh?
Yeah. We did have, something, I think about it. We did have we did have a teacher, and he later on became a principal in middle school. His name was Morebutter. I can't remember his first name, but it was Mr. Morebutter, and he was from Canada.
Yeah.
And I feel like he always said A at the end. I feel like he
A.
did. And you can tell he wasn't from around here. Okay, so apparently we're saying that right. Donna says yes.
Hey.
That's how we say it. Hey, that's the right way to say it, eh?
I think we can do that the whole show.
Eh? You think so? I think we do it too, eh?
I think we would gain a lot of Canadian followers, eh?
Oh man! So Donna, what you're saying is I should, when I go up there in a little while, in a few days, I should say that at the end of every sentence. I'll fit right in.
A.
Eh? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that will get kind of annoying after a while. Eh?
A. But you know what? I'm looking forward to
Oh man!
this series of devotions,
Yes, I am too, man.
We're talking about Old Testament leaders of the faith,
Yes.
both male and female, because there are some great people in the Bible. And the thing is, all of them had issues of their own, and God still used them.
Yes. Dude.
Which is huge. So if you think, oh well, I've done too much wrong, or well, I'm not qualified enough, like Moses, and I'm sure we'll get to Moses.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to Brandon, I'm absolutely certain we're going to get to Moses. But today we're talking about Noah. So I kind of got to push off on Noah not being
That's right.
yeah. And I just did it. Moses stuttered. And if you don't know, I say things sometimes and I don't know where I'll start a sentence and not know where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of find my way and fumble my way through it. But Moses was a stutterer, and then he ends up leading the nation of Israel, millions and millions of people, after he said, "Lord, I can't do it."
I love that.
I
love that.
But
I
dang,
love
Noah.
underdogs too, and that kind of sort of relates, sort of.
Yeah.
But I love it when people think they can't do something or they're not worthy, and then they're proven wrong. I
You-
love it when they.
you know what I love?
I love that.
I love it when everybody else thinks they can't do something.
Yes.
And then everybody else is proven wrong, like David. And
Yes.
David's another one that you know
Yes.
when they were choosing a king,
Yes.
and they went to anoint the next king
Anoint him.
of Israel.
Yes.
The next king of Israel, they didn't even let him, he wasn't even invited to the party. Like, he's out in the field. And they had all of Jesse's sons, minus David there, because they all looked like kings.
Yeah.
David didn't look like a king,
That's right.
you know? He didn't.
David.
He wasn't.
David.
But anyways,
I know.
it's good. I'm excited
Hey,
for it.
Donna said they have another Canadian watching. Hello, Janice Clowater. I really hope I'm not butchering these names too bad.
And if he is, we're sorry.
And if I am, I'm sorry, but welcome to the show, Janice. And I don't know what David, Coach, what are you talking about? No, you won't. Which one? What are you saying? No, you won't to? Are you saying we won't do something? Because we'll do it, buddy. All right. And everyone just check their
Look at
phones for a
that.
text.
David is one. Hey, you want to hear something funny? And this is a true story that happened yesterday in church.
Tell me.
So, we use this computer right here to live stream all of our church services. TempleFWB.com, Temple Church on Facebook.
Does that thing ever get turned off?
This?
Yes.
Yeah. In between, I use that computer over there for my main work and this because I don't want to clutter it with stuff. Anyways, so if you go to Temple Church, then there's a good chance if you were paying attention, you heard something in the middle of service. And what it sounded like was the ding that y'all just heard, except somehow, and I don't know how, I don't even know how this is possible, but somehow, me being plugged into the soundboard with this computer, so you get all the mics up close, all the guitars up close, the drums up close, it's because I'm plugged in. The ding you just heard went from because I got a text message, went from back into AudioVox, back into the soundboard, and projected out the house speakers.
Right.
So the preacher is speaking yesterday, and then it goes, like, it's not just one single person's phone going ding. It was like the Lord himself has an iPhone.
Please.
And
what
it
did
came
he do?
through surround sound.
What did he do? What?
I mean, everybody looked around. It was like, what just, like, nobody knew,
Yeah.
like, how did that just happen? I mean, and the funny part was Tony, our music minister, they had an issue with the songs yesterday where the click was playing loud.
Yeah.
And it keeps them on beat. It goes tick, 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 tick. And if you're not listening for it, then you didn't notice it. It wasn't bad. But he texts me, he goes, how did that sound? You know, asking me. And when because I left the live stream camera at the time because that's at the back.
Right.
So I'm sitting in the crowd. You know, after I make sure it's up and running and I test it and everything is going good, I let two of the teams run it. So I'm sitting in the stands in the congregation, and I'm listening. And he sits down, and then it goes, ding! Everybody in the church except for me and Tony are wondering what just happens because he knows that he just texted me. And I know that he just texted me. But everybody else just thinks that God got an iPhone because surround sound was like, bing! And I was like, I look at Tony, he looks at me, we both look back at the live stream, they're looking at me, we're looking at Tony, and the pastor's just rolling on like nothing happened.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
He just didn't even skip a beat. He's just like, yep, and then, you know, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would have
about
thought
that.
different. I would have thought he'd been like, like
Lord?
that's what I thought. I would have thought he'd have been like,
What number can we text?
Oh man,
But
that's
yeah,
pretty good stuff,
yeah.
man.
True story though.
So Coach Mateka, what he was saying was he didn't think I'd fit in Canada. He didn't think I'd fit in.
Well,
I
we're gonna
think
see.
that's baloney.
Can
I
you
think I
live
can
stream?
fit in anywhere.
Will you live stream from Canada?
Yes,
From
yes,
the
I will.
page?
Most definitely. I'll live stream for Donna Crabtree and all of you other Beyond Limits peeps. I will. And we'll see just how I fit in. Bub, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Are we ready to get this devotion cracking?
We are.
Let's go.
Hey,
Let's get it.
we are gonna get it cracking. And when y'all hear this story, I want y'all to be super excited because we are talking about why Corey gets it pulled up. I'm so excited about it. We're talking about
excited
Noah
about
today. Specifically Noah, we're going to go through individual people throughout this series and how God used regular people to do like crazy, awesome things for him. And he still does that to today. Just regular people. Now, And I've gone over this story before.
Yes.
It's about a particular person. But before we get started on the actual devotion, I'm going to read y'all a story about a martyr, a Christian faith martyr.
Yes.
And we're talking about putting it all on the line, which is what they did. They were ridiculed, they were mocked, they were spit on, and after becoming a Christ follower, they said, I don't care what the world has to offer and or take away from me. My hope is in some place else that is not this world. Okay. Back in the 1500s, there was a lot of persecution going on. The Catholic Church, there was a lot going on where not everybody had access to the Bible. William Tyndale came out and he started publishing the Bible, and so the government had a really tight, and the church had a really tight grip. And you actually had to pay for things. You had to pay for, you give the church money and it would grant you privileges in heaven. But Thomas Hawks, we're going to talk specifically about Thomas Hawks. This takes about 1 minute to do it. Thomas Hawks was a martyr. If you hadn't heard this story, it is incredible. Thomas Hawks ends up being a martyr from the Christian faith, but he will not recant that Jesus Christ is Lord.
Right.
Okay, and he's not coming off of that at all. Jesus Christ is Lord, and we all have access to God through Jesus Christ. You don't have to go pray to somebody else. We all have direct access to God through Jesus Christ. Just like he says, when Christ says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, no man comes to the Father but by me. He took it literally, as we should. You right now, my voice cracked, you right now can talk to God. You have direct access to God through Jesus Christ. And they said, you can't say that. And he said, yes, I can.
That's right.
And they said, we're going to kill you if you keep saying that. We're going to burn you at the stake. And this is huge, because I'm going to start reading. This is what he does. He was taken to the Bishop's Palace in London several times and asked to recant, but each time Thomas Hawks refused. Finally, on the 9th of February, and y'all can Google this is really cool. On the 9th of February, 1555, he was condemned to be burned at the stake. He refused a final chance to recant, saying, no, my Lord, that I will not. For if I had 100 bodies, I would suffer them all to be torn in pieces, rather than to recant that Jesus is Lord.
That's crazy.
Friends of Hawks, and this is incredible, friends of Hawks were greatly impressed by his firmness, but were fearful of the pain that death by fire would bring, and asked him to give an indication that it was bearable in the cause of their faith. Hawks said that he would lift his hands to heaven as a sign.
Yes,
okay? And I don't know if you remember this story, but it's cool. So, friends of Hawks, he's about to be led to a stake and burned to death. And the days leading up to it, they said, hey, we believe you. We are fellow brothers and sisters of the faith. We believe you. But can you show us a sign? As you're being burned.
As you're being burned, yeah.
Can you lift up your hands and show to us that your faith is unwavering?
That's
and
wild.
Thomas Hawks goes, okay, he agrees
That's crazy. So it says he was chained to a stake and the fire was lit beneath him. The fire almost immediately consumed him, causing his skin to shrink. That's hot, Jack.
That's hot.
Causing his skin to shrink. He lay down his head and became motionless. Everyone, including his friends, believed him to be dead, when suddenly the apparently lifeless body lifted up his arms and clapped over its head 3 times before sinking down into the flames. So what did he say he was going to do? They said they wanted a sign, right?
They said they wanted a sign. They said, Thomas, hey, we want to know that faith in the fire is something that can happen. Even as you're dying, like Stephen, when he looked up to heaven and he's being stoned, the first martyr, we want to know that that is still possible, and they burn him. And, I mean, it even talks that his skin is starting to melt off of his body, and everybody thought he was dead. Everybody thought he was dead. He lowered his head, and they thought all hope was lost. They did. They thought he was dead. And then his last bit of everything that he had,
that's the thing.
Instead of just raising his hand.
So, can you imagine, this man's at the stake, and he's being burned alive.
Yeah.
And the whole reason he's there is because, he basically won't turn his back on God.
Yeah.
And not only that, people are making requests of him. But can you show us? We want to know. We want to really believe and see that, that you can have faith in the fire. You can be bold in the faith while you're dying, and just refusing to turn your back on the Lord. And he does it. Can you imagine the amount of pain he was going through, and he still did it? But it's so inspiring. Like, this man loved the Lord so much, and he was going to just basically just put it all on the line for him so much that he was willing to look past all that. Fire was so hot that his skin was shrinking, like it was consuming him. Getting burned alive, man. If you're going to think about a way to die, I know it's a terrible thing, but a lot of people all the time, they always think about what's the worst way you could possibly die. Burning's got to be one of them. Like,
Burning's pretty high on the list.
Being burned alive. But instead of that, he ignored all that pain, and he reached over his head and clapped his hands 3 times, showing people that you can be bold in the faith, you can be burned alive and still pronounce your faith in the Lord. My God, man.
That's crazy.
And it goes so well with what we're talking about today. Yeah, that's wild. 1555 that happened. That's a long time ago, man.
Yeah. So
1555. June 10th.
I wrote a paper, man. Richard Allsbrook, what is up, man?
What's up, man?
White song.
Yes, my buddy Justin. What are you doing up this morning? Go get a milkshake from Bad Daddy's. They're awesome.
I hear it brings all the boys to the yard.
It was so good, man.
Christy Harrell Hassel, that's my sister. Carol Lynn Rose, what's going on? We're about to start the actual podcast itself. Richard Allsbrook, what is going on? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, good time. Paul loves to talk about them. I do love talking about them because if you've been through the fire in your life, that was a literal fire, but if you've been through a time in your life, a valley like David talks about, it's easy to think God's not with you, that he's only there on the mountaintops, and that's nothing's truer. God's actually just as close in the valley as he is on the mountaintops. We just tend to recognize him. Hey, Kyle Gaines, we just tend to recognize him more when we're in the valley, when we need him, and that's a shame. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
You want to start this podcast?
I do, man. I want to see what's going on. I think they're eager to hear some devotion, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some normal chit-chat with them. We just got really eager. We couldn't wait to start the devotion, so we went ahead and did it kind of anyway. But
Brandon.
we're officially going to start it here soon.
Yeah, we're talking about Noah, guys. So hang on tight. We're about to click on with Spotify, iTunes, and all the rest.
Man, that sounds good.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
It does sound good.
Come on.
It does sound good.
How much time we got for y'all's
So, as always, y'all comment and let us know what you're thinking, and we're going to try and throw some of these into the podcast. Yeah?
Here we go.
Cool. Let's do a podcast, guys.
You're listening to the Beyond Limits Morning Show featuring Paul Armstrong and Corey Smith with positive, encouraging stories and Christ-centered messages. Join us as Beyond Limits starts now.
What is going on? Stitcher Radio, iTunes, iHeartRadio, WHIG-TV, and all other people listening on the live stream with us on Facebook.
Yes.
It is Corey and Paul here with the Beyond Limits podcast. Lovely Monday morning. We hope you're having a blessed day and start to your week. We love you, and we have an awesome devotion for you this morning. We're talking about faith. Old Testament stories of faith, to be exact, by our one and only author, Brandon Nicholson, the JLD. Jesus loving business. He always delivers, and man did he ever with this devotion this morning. So Webster's Dictionary defines faith as complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Now, Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now that is big. I like that scripture because a lot of times I feel like we struggle in our lives with faith because we can't see anything. Things aren't happening when we want them to.
Yeah.
We feel like as humans we have a bad problem with wanting to snap our fingers, and we want it now. We want it right now, God. Give it to me now. Give it to me just the way I ask. And guys, it's just not going to happen that way. And the further you go in your Christian walk, your faith is going to be tested. And we're talking about stories this morning that will really get you to sit back and think like, wow, could I have not been just a little bit more patient in that one thing that I was asking for God? Or normally it's not just one thing, it's 1,000 things and even more than that. Think about the entire course of your life, even when you weren't a Christian, all the things that you wanted from the Lord. Like you weren't even in it for the Lord, but you still wanted to ask Him for things. And then when you start to get in it for the Lord, you still want to question Him.
Yeah.
And we're talking this morning about how you can stay bold and strong in your faith when under fire. And we just got done talking about Thomas Hawks in the pre-show.
Yeah.
And that was an inspiring story. And you can, and that doesn't mean you have to literally be burned at the stake like Thomas Hawks. But there are times where people will either try to draw your faith into question, events will try to draw your faith into question. The enemy itself will just try to provoke you with thoughts and try to draw your faith into question. So, what are we talking about this morning? We're talking about how you can stand firm during those times. And Paul said a beautiful thing in the pre-show right before we ended it. He was talking about how it shouldn't always be those times when you're in the valley and under fire that you go to the Father and ask Him for help. You should be praising Him when you're up and praising Him when you're down. And your faith is like a muscle in that regard. Your faith, whether things are going your way or whether things are not going your way, you should be praising Him at all times, because your faith is going to constantly be tested. Even when things are looking up for you, you don't know it, but there are things happening behind the scenes that can be testing your faith. How are you going to go to God when all the chips are in your favor and you've got everything going right for you? How are you going to view your faith and view your life with the Father versus when things are not going? Because that's when we always want to flock to Him. Oh God, this happened. I don't know why this is happening. Please help me, please. Well, were you doing that 5 minutes ago with you didn't have a care in the world? You know what I mean? And I'm really loving, we're talking about Noah, and we're talking about more great scripture and just so many different representations in the Bible that talk about being bold in the faith, and I just can't wait to get to it. Paul, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, so Webster's dictionary defines faith as complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And our very first person that we're talking about in this series, Old Testament leaders of the faith, the very first person we're talking about is Noah.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about that. So obviously we're going to be coming from Genesis with this one. And Genesis 6, 5-8 says, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that and that's important, every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that He had made human beings on the earth, and His heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. But," and this is, every time you see the word but, it is important in Scripture, because something awesome is about to happen. But God, but the Lord, but Jesus, but, and it is crazy because it says, it's always following something that is just so negative. It's something that a human has done wrong or something we have done wrong. Yeah. And then, but God, So here it says, "But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord." And that's incredible, because through Noah, civilization is saved.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love that, because that's what we want to drive home to people today. First of all, I think first and foremost, we want people to understand that your faith is everything. Like, you have to have faith whenever you're about to do anything. You mentioned last week, we were talking during our devotions and whatnot about how you don't try to make a decision without the Lord. And that is very much, and to me, it goes hand in hand with your faith. Like, you need to be able to trust the Father to help you and guide you to make the right decisions, especially when your faith is being tested, because that's when it's pivotal. Different events are going to happen. Can you think about what Noah was going through when he was being ridiculed? Yeah. And all these people were just saying, "Noah, you're crazy." And how long did he spend? It's up for debate. Like, there's different. How long did he spend trying to make the ark?
Yeah. So depending on the commentary, it's between 75 years and 120 years.
So let's just say at minimum, let's say it was 70. But still, that's 70 years. Yeah. If that's the number. So all this time he's being ridiculed and mocked. If anybody's out there, you go into the workplace this morning, or you're going anywhere, you're at school, let's say you're somebody and you've been in school or now you're out for school, everybody knows what it's like to be mocked. Yeah. It's not fun. Yeah. Being mocked is to me, it can just be as bad as getting spit on. Like, when people mock you, they don't take you seriously. They think that you're either, just silly, or you're not smart, or they try to make you just out to be this, fool, basically, like let's say in the Bible. And, that's not, it doesn't feel fun to be targeted like that, and it doesn't feel fun to try to be made out to be that way. But you take that and you know something to be true, because Noah has what? He's got absolute faith, right? So he's going through, but he's still feeling this. He's still a person. He's still a man. So he can still feel all this stuff coming from everywhere. And then not only that, let's talk about the physical labor of building this thing.
An ark in the middle of the desert.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. So not only do you have the outside stressors, people, the environment, then you also have this endeavor before you. You have to finish this. You have to complete this because God is telling you to do it. How do you get through this? The key word here is faith. You have to be able to lean on your faith and have that strong faith that is just unwavering. And it is so beautiful. It is such a wonderful thing to hear a story like this. And I think it's one of the best stories to go to when you talk about having your faith challenged. People want to say that, no, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Even we're going to talk about it later on, but even you yourself can do that to yourself. And that's when you have to have that faith has to be just as strong, if not even stronger in that regard. So it's not just other people and outside influences that can, try to provoke your faith.
After I don't know, after 1 week, after you go through 1 week of people talking about you, you're like, man, I'm done with this.
Come on.
I'm and even one day you show up to your work today, and people are like, man, your boss says you did something wrong. That ruins your whole day.
Yeah. This
dude built an ark for his what would be our entire life.
So
think about that. At least 75 years. At least, let's say it's just 75 years. Let's say it's right in the middle, 100 years.
Yeah.
Imagine spending your entire life being ridiculed for what you've spent your entire life doing, and yet you still show up every day.
Yes.
You still add on and build to the ark, and you're faithful to what God says to do.
Yes.
And He's told you, build a boat. So you're building a boat. No matter what society, no matter what society has said to you, dude, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy it's not raining. You're building a boat in the middle of the desert. You have lost your mind every single day. And he could have given up. He could have given up, but he didn't. He was faithful. And right now I'm thinking of church plants, although this applies to every single Christ follower, because a lot of church plants are in the middle of places that are unfavorable to Christians, like Japan or Canada in some places, where there's not. We're very blessed to have a church on almost every single street corner here. We are, but they're in the middle of places where they can be just like this. The crowd society can be just like this, and I really think America is getting to this place right now where we're like that.
That's crazy. I can identify so well with what you're talking about. We both can. Because we both work and we both have things that we go in. You clock in, even if you're not going to have a physical thing that you punch a clock. You just start your work day. You walk in and somebody says just one thing to you. Think about how much we struggle with on such a small scale, and then we compare it to let's compare it to this story in the Bible, Noah and the ark, and we think about how much he went through versus how much we struggle with, which could just be somebody making some snooty comment to us and it ruining our entire day. It can't happen, guys. It cannot happen. Our faith has to be tested, and that's one of the ways it gets tested, just through interactions with other people and how we're going to go on after we deal with that negative, interaction. And then, of course, people are going to sit there and people will just try to question your faith in general, like, why are you a Christian? Well, tell me why you're a Christian. This, that, it could be something like that. Could be anything. Could be how you raise your kids. It could be anything that you do in life. People are going to attack, and you have to be ready for that. And I just can't get over how much, and I'm preaching to the choir. I myself, I'm not trying to sound like a hypocrite, but I myself, I know I do it. But one small little thing can cause me to just want to, throw in the towel and not finish something that I started. And the fact that I even have to think like that makes me mad at myself. But, that's just part of growing. It's part of growing as a Christian. It's part of growing in general. But we worry about so little And then you look at what Noah went through, having to physically build this ark, having people, tell him that he's crazy and this and that. And all we're worried about is what Joe Blow said to us when we walked in and how we just can't get over one sentence. He just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really, when you stack them side by side, guys, we really don't have to worry and struggle with these things at all. We don't. And that's when you start to realize that, that's when your faith is really starting getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Faith is a beautiful thing. It really is. Press into it.
Yeah. So some facts, because it's easy to think that Noah's Ark. Okay, so he built a boat. No, that's not that's not the only thing. Noah's Ark was a third of the size of the Titanic.
Yes.
Think about one person building a boat being mocked a third of the size of the Titanic. Okay. And some people, and I'm reading this verbatim off this site, some people argue that there's no way Noah's Ark could have held 2 of every kind of animal, but the numbers suggest otherwise, obviously. According to Ark measurements, the big boat had about as much space as 250 railroad stock cars.
My goodness.
Yeah, which some folk, so they calculate, can hold between 20,000 and 40,000 animals, roughly the size of sheep.
My goodness, man. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And this thing's made of wood.
Yes.
It's so crazy. But here we go. We're talking about facts and whatnot. Now, of course, I love it when I don't like to get in arguments with people, but there's always history is always looked at, science is always looked at, and we talk about these iconic stories in the Bible, and Noah's Ark is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And here's a cool little fact right here. Nearly 300 cultures agree that there was a catastrophic flood. According to scientist Dr. Dwayne Gish, there are more than 270 stories about a catastrophic flood from cultures around the world. Most of these stories bear similarities to the biblical story of Noah and the Ark. So it's pretty cool. 8 humans survived the flood and provided eyewitness accounts to future generations. So how did there come to be so many similar versions of the biblical account of the flood? It makes sense when you consider that in addition to the passage of time, language was confounded during the building of the Tower of Babel a couple hundred years after the Great Flood. These 2 factors undoubtedly contributed to the development of variants of the stories.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. I love it when, history and whatnot gets intertwined and people, you can actually go back, and try to, you can actually find factual stuff that are supporting, stories in the Bible like that.
And something huge, there's a few things. One, you got to realize Noah didn't shut the ark. God shut the ark. It was all in God's plan, God's timing. God shut the ark doors. But 2, the first thing that Noah and his family do when they get off the ark is the same thing that you see when the Israelites pass through the sea on dry land. The Israelites were told to build an altar so you can look back and remember how God was faithful. When Noah gets off the ark, what does he do? First thing they do, they build an altar so that they can look back and think about the time that God was faithful. So, in your life, we want you to look back and set up these altars in your life, things, mementos that are just times where you remember that God is faithful, because it's easy, like we talked about in the live stream earlier, it's easy when you're in the valley and you're talking to God and you're like, oh, I need you, God. But then when we get on the mountaintop, it's easy to forget that. Everything's good. The money's coming in, or at least our needs are met, where we're not wanting so much. And it's like, I wrote a paper for Liberty one time, and it was Christianity thrives when it is persecuted, but when it is not persecuted and it is left to its own, it becomes watered down. And that's not the way it should be, but it's the way it is. When we're in those valleys, we see God more clearly than when we're on the mountaintop. And we encourage you that we do that. But the devotion actually says, this is cool. Brandon goes, let's just pause right here for a second and think about how strange this must have been for Noah, as well as the rest of the inhabitants of the earth. The people of earth had never seen heavy rain or flooding on the earth before. So imagine their surprise and skepticism when they see a man building a super large boat on dry land, nowhere near a body of water, and they hear him talking about a massive flood coming up on the earth. The people of earth would have most certainly mocked and made fun of Noah for what he was doing. They would have called him crazy. They would have assumed he had lost his mind completely. It took Noah somewhere between that 75 to 120 year to build the mark, depending on the commentary. So, I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. A few thousand years later, God would also use another man to save the world. This man would save the world in a different way. He would save the entire world from sin for eternity. While Noah preserved life on earth by building an ark, this man would give life to everyone by dying on a cross. That man was Jesus.
My goodness gracious. See, there again, I go back to what we struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and what we think is just day ending, week ending, month ending. We spend, man, you know how much time is wasted worrying about things that don't matter, and things that are attacking your faith, and you can just pull that little Heisman Trophy move, and you could just stiff arm it, and you would not have to worry. You wouldn't have to skip one beat. You wouldn't have to waste 1 second of your day. And believe me, I know it's easier said than done. I struggle with it. Paul struggles with it. We all struggle with it. But look at these stories in the Bible. Look at everything. Look at what we've talked about so far this morning in the pre-show, all the way up until now. We talked about Thomas Hawks being burned at the stake. We're talking about Jesus dying on the cross. We're talking about Noah building an ark. We're talking about all these testaments of faith, and how throughout the whole way, I mean, Jesus was literally beat and spit on and talked just complete immortal junk to the whole way up until him dying on the cross. And you know, we worry about somebody talking about a mamas and they never even met her. You know what I'm saying, man? We really can't let ourselves, and I'm doing it this way because I'm also speaking to myself. I'm not just speaking to you guys through the podcast, but if you would just let that stuff go, surrender it, lay it at the cross, and just say the words, I have complete faith in the Lord. And just say that over and over to yourself, and then pray for God to continue to build that up within you. Because guys, it's not something that you just get. It's not. You have to really, it's like I said earlier, it is like a muscle. You have to exercise your faith. You do. And your faith is going to, how do you do that? Well, it's going to come through your walk. Like, you know, things are going to happen. You will walk into that workplace tomorrow morning, or you might press pause or stop on this podcast, listen to the rest of it later, and then turn the corner and you're going to bump into somebody, and it just might spark this whole thing between you and that person, and next thing you know, that's an attack on your faith. You know, people will, they might hear you listening to this podcast. Oh, what's Beyond Limits? What are they? Oh, it's a Christian ministry. So they listen. That's what you're into, really? Why? Tell me why. And then they're attacking your faith. You know, something could happen to you on the way home from work, and you know, I don't know, you get into a wreck, or you know, you lose your wallet. And God, I thought I was doing so well. Why is this happening to me? Why? Guys, look at the bigger picture here. Look at all these. When you start to go through those points in your day, remember everything that we've talked about, and then if you don't believe us, open up that Bible and read some more, because guess what? There's even more stories in there. And just think about everything that you're confronted with on a day-to-day basis, and measure it and see how it stacks up against things like what Thomas Hawk went through, what Noah went through, what Jesus went through. Think about all these things, and you'll see that we really don't have anything to worry about. We can be bold in our faith. We, most of all, compared to what all these other folks have gone through.
Yeah, and if you're not a member of the Facebook Beyond Limits family, one, you need to be, but two, the comment section is off the hook right now. I mean, it's really crazy right now. They are really dropping some good stuff.
Yes.
Like this, one of our family members, Scott Johnson, says we should not engage in arguments with folks that through their own ignorance choose to ridicule our beliefs.
Yes.
We should use that as the perfect opportunity to show them the beauty of having faith.
Amen. And you know what he's talking about is a beautiful thing, because you know, a lot of times my girlfriend, she'll tell me, you know, anytime I'm about to go to work, or I'm about to, you know, go do anything, even it could be just a hobby I like, she'll say, be the light.
Yeah.
You know, be the light. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's what Scott's talking about. You don't even have to engage in a confrontational argument with somebody who wants to, debate the existence of the Father. You don't have to argue one beat with them. Just be the light. Just let it shine through your actions and how you deal with things, and through your faith, being bold in your faith. You know, people, and that might come through various ways. Somebody could look at you and literally see you just praying over your meal before you eat it, and they could sit there and they might cause themselves to question, why don't I do that? Do I believe in God? If not, why don't I believe in God? You know, what would my life be like if the Lord was actively involved in my life? What would it be like? And that could be just from somebody watching you praying over your meal, guys. And then you could sit there and later on you could witness to that person. You don't have to sit there and engage and banter back and forth and say, well, my God is king. You don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Don't point your finger at them. Just be the light. And that is done through just acts of kindness, just done through just witnessing to people, praying over people. You might ask to pray over someone and be like, dude, I don't do that. Well, that's fine. You don't, but I do. Can I pray over you?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, and you never know. Yeah. Being bold like that can really inspire people. I would argue if you're not being up in their face about it, if you're just offering, who knows? Some people, they're just waiting for that hand to be outreached to them. All that could be just a facade. Them arguing with you, trying to sit there and debate. Let's be honest. People will argue for the sake of arguing.
Yeah.
But when you sit there and you witness to somebody and you actually open up your hand to them and say, here, let me show you.
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt? What do you got to lose? Let me pray with you for a minute. Can I do that? And you never know what that can do for somebody. That can just go so far, and that is so much more powerful than doing the alternative and sitting there being defensive. And I can say that because I used to be that kind of person when I was first getting into this Christian walk. I thought, oh, I gotta argue my faith. I have to do this. No, you don't. No, you don't. You will learn that you will get a whole lot farther, and we know this definitely, in the police force, in law enforcement. You get a whole lot further by talking to someone rather than talking at them.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot better to be the light instead of just trying to shove stuff down people's throat, because you ain't going to get anywhere with that.
Bob and Deb Armstrong they point out a very good verse here, and it says, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. How is your faith today? And we're asking you that question. How is your faith today? Are you bold in the faith? Are you going out? Are you proclaiming Jesus Christ today? Or are you timid? Because Christ did not die on a cross. Christ did not die on a cross for you to go out and put your head in the sand and keep that to yourself.
That's right.
He did not do that. Matter of fact, after he raises from the dead, he spends 40 days on earth, and his very last words is, go into all the nations and proclaim the gospel.
Yes.
So if you're walking around today and you're defeated, and I hate to see that, man. I hate to see Christians that walk around and they just look defeated. And you're like, do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what hope you have?
That's right.
You're putting your hope in the things of this world. If you are defeated right now, there's no need to. We're all going to have bad days, but there is nobody who is a Christ follower who should ever look defeated. Ever.
That's right. And the people that are walking like that doesn't mean that they're just doesn't mean they're bad at being Christians. It does not mean that. What it means is they're growing their faith just like you and I are growing our faith. You and I just might be a little bit further ahead of them. And I'm just using us as an example.
Yeah.
I don't know how we stack up against somebody like you're describing, to be honest with you, because we all undergo attacks on our faith every day, whether we even recognize it or not, guys. Something could happen and you just brush it off, and then later on, it might be a month later, you might remember that one thing. You might, wow, I see what was going on there. We are here to encourage you guys, because like we all know, we're all subject to having a gut check in the faith department. Like we all get challenged at times. There's no telling what the day is going to bring, what life's going to bring. We don't know what's going to happen, but the Lord does. What we have to do, the only thing we can know is how we need to respond to these things. And I tell you, and it just really, we think about Beyond Limits. Let's just think about Beyond Limits. We started selling T-shirts, right?
Yep.
And other things too. I'm really excited. I hope my stuff came, by the way. But we started selling our stuff, and Beyond Limits, it's a logo. It looks cool. It looks a little hip. It looks kind of like a lot of stuff you'd see out there in the mainstream today. But that's a good example. You wear this shirt somewhere. Hey, what's Beyond Limits?
Yep.
What is it?
Jessica, one of our family members, Jessica, said that is the specific reason in, I'm not going to think of the name, where south of Raleigh, not Winton.
Wendell. Yes.
Lives in Wendell. That's the exact reason that she bought a shirt.
Yes.
Was somebody would look at it and say, what is that?
Absolutely.
And so there you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, and there you go right there. What is Beyond Limits? Oh, well, it's this podcast that I follow. It's a ministry is what it is. And these two guys, they work with other people, and they do a podcast in the morning, and they put out videos, and it's faith-based. They're Christians, and they just go out there just spreading the gospel. And then you imagine telling that to somebody who doesn't know Jesus,
mm-hmm.
and then they're sitting back And they looked at, all they did was look at a shirt they thought looked cool. Hey, what is that? What does that mean? What is Beyond Limits? And then the next thing you know, you're witnessing to them. Well, why do you do that? And then you go into this whole another rabbit hole of, pronouncing your faith and explaining what the Lord has done for you. And hey, why don't you just check them out? And then next thing you know, they're watching our podcast and they're studying a story about being bold in the faith. They're hearing about Noah. They're hearing about Jesus. They're hearing about all these wonderful devotions that Brandon's put together. And you just never know what one little thing can do for you guys. I mean, sometimes that's why you have to be careful, when you start to get saved and you start to change your life, you have to be careful what you feed yourself, because what you feed yourself can be a negative impact on your faith. Instead of wearing those shirts that had a bunch of profanity on it and all this and that, why don't you wear something, either let it be plain Jane, or why don't you let it be something that is pronouncing your faith, that is a great, and that's not an excuse for you to go out there and get a Beyond Limits t-shirt, but I'm just using an example. I don't care. Go get any t-shirt. If it's got a Bible verse on it and it's factual and it's God loving, then Lord, wear it. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. But that's just another way to witness. And in this ever-changing world, the further we go along, I feel like the problem with that is there are more ways to pronounce your faith and showcase it, but there's also more ways for it to be attacked. So I feel like you should really just kind of buy into that a little bit. Just let it grow in any way it can, as long as it's positive. To get closer to the Lord.
And that goes perfect with what Ed Cherry's saying right here. Not only show your faith by talking and sharing, but more importantly, more of walking the faith.
Yes.
Lip service is everywhere, but you can truly see a godly person walk the faith.
Yes.
And that show them with your actions. Yes, go out, talk to them. Yes, proclaim Jesus Christ, but also don't proclaim Jesus Christ on Sunday and then be everybody else on Monday.
Yeah.
Because they're watching you on Sunday, but they're also watching you on Monday. And if you don't look any different from them on Monday, they don't care what you have to say on Sunday. I assure you that.
That's right. And we've been talking about Noah, and we're talking about how our faith can be challenged at times. And this is where we really start to get into day-to-day life and what it means for us as Christians. And I'm thinking about what Ed Cherry's talking about, and it goes back to being the light. Now, when you start to become this light and you want it to shine brighter, that means that you will literally have to do what it's talking about. You're going to have to live it. So you start to change how you carry yourself, change how you walk, change how you talk, change how you react to certain people and things. And I can remember when I really started to put this to use, it's funny, I was in church yesterday and the pastor was talking about, hey, you're in here on Sunday, and then next thing you know, you walk out of here and you listen, somebody tells a trashy, profane joke, and you're the one laughing the loudest. It just puts up a very big, let's be honest, guys, we all wind up having these areas in our life where we fall short, but analyzing those areas and not just ignoring it, saying, okay, yeah, I need to work on that. Actually work on it. Like when you get around, and I got news for you guys. It's going to change not only who you are, but who you associate with. And some people, here's the thing, some people will see that as inspiration, and they will. I know that's how I got caught.
Yeah.
Surrounding myself. I first started hanging out with Paul, and then I was like, hey, I want to be more like that. And then other people along the way that I saw that who were being the light. They were being good examples of how to be a good Christ follower. And you start to learn that there are certain things that you just cannot continue to carry along with you if you're going to have your faith be at its strongest. So that means going out there and leading by example, not laughing at certain crude jokes, not using certain language, not wearing certain clothing, not listening to certain music. It means that. But you will find that all the way, that you didn't really need those things. They were only hindering you as, going and becoming the biggest, strongest Christian you can be. It's just like I always like to go back to the weight room, or to the gym, or playing a sport. You're sitting here, you want to be the best athlete you can be. You do. But you want to eat crap food and you never want to go to the gym. Well, guess what? You're not going to get that 40 time you want by doing that. You're not going to be able to max out on that bench press like you want to. You're not going to be able to, run that half marathon that you want to run in the time that you want to run it in, because you have all these hindrances. It's the same thing with our walk in faith. You have to be able to be the light, and that means change, guys. But guess what? It goes back to last week's devotions. It goes back to godly change.
Yeah, that's watch this, man. And this is really cool because the Bible says, out of the heart the mouth speaks.
Come on.
What's in your heart, what you feed your heart, is going to come out of your mouth. You ain't going to be able to help it. So if you're watching the dirty movies, you're watching and you're around the people that are the bad language all the time, you're putting that You're putting that in your heart. You're going to speak that. That's who you're associated with. You can choose. You can be of the world or you can be of Jesus Christ. There's no in between there. Who are you going to serve? In the Old Testament it says, "But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Well, what does that mean? That means serving the Lord. That's not like Ed Cherry was saying earlier. That's not just lip service where, well, we're going to serve the Lord, but go into my house and watch us do something different. That's not the thing, because the Lord is in your house. And He knows if you're living at the end, 1 million years from now, what's going to matter, what you said or what you did.
That's right.
So proclaim Jesus just like Noah did. Proclaim Jesus in a society that dictates that, there's multiple ways to heaven.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this, guys. God loves us all, therefore it's all going to work out in the end. That's called pluralism, and that is going to get a lot of people will not enter heaven because of that.
But you know something, that's a real thing, and I think it is that is what attacks me. I'm glad you brought that up, because again, that's one of those things. That is one of those things that attacks Christians when they are just starting out, when they are most ripe for the picking from the devil. Oh, God, they got saved. Now I got to really work, because what do they tell you when you get saved? Welcome, good job. Now comes the hard part. Yeah. It's because that is when they are, you're really confronted. Like, now, okay, it's almost like cleaning out your room. You're getting rid of all this junk you don't need anymore, and then you get to something, and you're like, man, I really like this. I can keep this, right? I can keep it. I can do this and still be a Christian. I can do this, and no, you really can't. You can't. And I struggle with that a lot. When I was starting out, there's that phrase. You want to have your cake and you want to eat it too, and you start to really realize that, well, you really can't do that. You can't go out on Saturday nights to that bar with those friends and be around them like you could and think that you're going to just be able to come out like a shiny new penny and nothing will have happened. You will learn, just like Paul said, that you garbage in, garbage out. You start to, surround yourself with certain things, certain people. You're going to mimic those certain things and those certain people. It's just the way it is, and you can't do that. Now, how do you be a light for other people? Well, you just abstain from those things, and you set an example. And maybe they'll follow you, maybe you won't. You can pray for them, and then in their own time, perhaps they will come and they'll see. And I got news for you, they will. If you stick around long enough, what is it? And this is, I don't want to open up this debate, but there's a saying out there that says, you can't get people saved, but you can definitely help. Yeah. You can definitely help lead them to, like, hey man, come to church with me on Sunday. Hey man, check out this podcast. Look at this. Hey man, I read this scripture. I think it applies to you. Why don't you read it? And plant those seeds, guys. Plant them. Instead of thinking that you can continue to live that life you used to live, don't do that. Plant those seeds and be that light. Be your own man in Christ or woman in Christ, and people will. I'm telling you, that is when you will really start to be a shining light. You will be an example for people, and they will follow you. I know firsthand. I've seen it happen. I've been a witness to it. I've done it myself. So that is the best way to get it done. Don't you try to juggle all these things and think that you're going to be able to continue to do it, because you won't be able to. I'm telling you. You are not strong enough to beat the devil on your own, and that is just a trick for him. What'd you call it? Pluralism.
Yeah.
I'm learning stuff new every day, but I love what you did. I love where you brought that in, because that is a trick by the devil to make you believe, or try to get you to believe that you can do these things and still be okay. It's not so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, because if anybody ever says, and it actually happened right here where we're filming. I had a conversation the other night with somebody with a young teen who is not saved, and she's here visiting the church from out of state. And she goes, well, how do we know that Christianity is any different than any other 100,000 religions? And one, our hope, our salvation is based, one, on grace, not of works. So that sets us apart from any other one. But two, we have the only foundation where a person said, I'm going to die for your sins and come back again. No other, and did exactly that. No other religion can say that. Verifiable. Yeah. Verifiable. So much so that all of the apostles, which all fell away, just like Jesus said they were going to do, all fell away. ended up dying for their faith. Once they had seen the risen Savior, you couldn't find bolder people. And I'm telling you, when Noah goes out in Genesis and he spends a century building a boat when he was ridiculed, they made fun of him. I mean, they were all drunkards. And I mean, every day he showed up and he built.
Yeah.
He was faithful.
Come on.
Every single day. It might seem like you're going to an insignificant job. One, that shouldn't be the case. Anytime you get to wake up in the morning and go brag on Jesus Christ, that day is not insignificant. Take advantage of that day.
Yes.
Brag on Jesus Christ, because you are building trophies in heaven that you can't even fathom right now. You can't even fathom right now. So be like Noah. Show up.
Yes. Just show up, guys. And it's not just, here's the thing, the enemy is ever present. We don't want to sit here and give the enemy a bunch of, fame and glory. But this is what we're trying to get you to understand. I mentioned him because along the way he will be present. And it's not just people that are going to try to call you, a fool and try to say that you're not worthy or you can't do these things or events. But you yourself will be in conflict sometimes. You don't think Noah was in conflict? Like, I wonder, what would have been like if I was in that position and I was, I felt like God was leading me to build this ark, and then I had to deal with the people, the events, the task itself. Yeah, I think about how I question, man. Sometimes I wonder, can I make a sandwich right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being serious, but the point I'm making is, guys, you throughout your life, you'll get to crossroads and stuff, and you'll sit there and you'll want to. So say you have a goal in mind, or everything has gone well up until this point, and then you sit back and you're just like, man, I can't do this. Look at what I've been through before, or what if this happens? I can't. That is purely the enemy just trying to get you to just sit there and second guess yourself. We talked about anxiety all last week and worry and all those things. Easier said than done for us to sit here on this podcast this morning and tell you, don't you worry about it. That doesn't matter. That's just the devil trying to. Yes, we believe that. We do. We're telling you that, but we also understand what game is being played. We understand what trickery is at stake and what's going on. What we can tell you is this morning, last week we had the devotion on worrying, and we had the devotion on anxiety and all those things. Now, what we're telling you is that was this. Now we're talking about faith. We're talking about how to beat that and to keep on going towards your path, towards what God has in store for you. God wants to bless you guys. He really does. He wants to do something outstanding in your life, and we believe it. We don't care where you've been, what you've done. He doesn't care. Just come to him with open arms, and he will accept you with open arms. That is the truth. And if you can believe that, and you can have that faith boldly, all those things in between, they can literally fade away. All the worry, the doubt, the people who criticize you and think that you're just nothing and think that you are absolutely nuts for just getting up there and talking about Jesus, or for having a, I imagine, think about all the other podcasts that are out there, and we're not trying to sit there and throw shade on people, but think about all the other podcasts that could be talking about all the other things in this world, anything. But you got two guys that are up here, and we're not the only ones. Let's be honest. There's so many people that have podcasts about Jesus and the Christian faith. We're not trying to shine a light on ourselves, but what I'm saying is you could get so consumed with the things of this world because it's so enticing. What's cool right now? What music's hot? Let's think about this. Let's talk about this instead of talking about Beyond Limits and what God is doing for us and what he can do for you. We wouldn't have it any other way than what we're doing right now. But if you don't think for 1 minute that somebody might try to get involved in that and mess that up, and we might not have really had it happen so far now, but who's not to say that it could happen tomorrow? Well, we're doing this because we want to do it, you know what I mean, and because we know how good God has been to us, and we want to get it out there to other people. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't have a voice in this. You can't get out there and spread the gospel message, and that you can't be a good Christian, because you can be. Just don't let them hinder you from doing it. Be bold in your faith.
Be bold in your faith, just like Noah. Be bold in your faith. Show up. Do the work. Be faithful to God, even when it's hard. We love you guys.
Yes, we do. What a powerful devotion this morning. Come on,
man, came through.
Brandon is the man.
Yeah.
And I love it. It just comes full circle, man. Next thing I need to know, I'll just tell you something, guys. I don't know. I don't think I've ever gotten up on a, so I'm thinking about all the way back to my Sunday school days, even before I had that little bit of a drought in my faith-based walk. I'm thinking about I don't think I've ever gotten out and preached a sermon, but you have. And we get up this sometimes and we talk, get ready to speak into the mic. We start a podcast, and then we're like, man, how's this going to go? I love the message. I love the devotion.
Yeah.
But are we going to be able to deliver it?
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, it's almost like we weren't doing anything. It was like it was all the Father, and I love it, man. What a wonderful devotion. Thank you guys for being here with us this morning. We love you, and stay tuned for this Wednesday. We got another great show coming up. God bless you guys.
Yeah, this was episode 1 of great leaders in the Old Testament of the faith. And number 2 is going to start back Wednesday. If you're on the live stream, don't go anywhere. We love you guys. We're going to hang out with y'all a little bit more. If you're on the podcast, we will see you on Wednesday, but you too can join the live stream. Find us on Facebook at Your Daily Show. Have a great Monday. See you on Wednesday. Love you guys. Bye.
Later. Yo, we are back. So we're still trying to struggle. We're still trying to figure out.
It's hot.
Yes.
It's 900 degrees in here.
We don't think that you guys can hear us. We just don't want to risk it. The AC is right over here to Paul's left, but we turn it off. So that's basically roughly 30 minutes or a little bit over that we don't have AC in this room. And right now there are 4 bodies in here.
4
You can't see Josh and Jared, but with all those bodies.
Guys.
And then the sunlight shines directly in here, so I'm sure it gets hot pretty fast in here.
It's that fire. That's up there. Y'all had some really good comments.
Yes, y'all
this.
did.
It was really good, and I love that. Jessica goes, I have to learn to differentiate God speaking for change versus me worrying about the change, because it's something I feel like I need. This is something I've truly been working and praying about. We all go through that. We do go through that. Scripture, prayer, worship. Those are the 3 main forms. You get scripture and prayer down, and I'm telling you, God will speak to you. But pray fervently about everything. Seek God's guidance in everything. It'll become clear to you.
You know something, and I don't want to misspeak, but sometimes I feel led to describe it. I just thought about something. When you get saved, what are we told? You have a new body, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, Jessica just kind of made me feel like it, made me feel like I need to say something. She reminded me, you have a new body. It's almost like you're born again. So you're a child of God. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to learn all these things. You're trying to, basically differentiate between what's good, what's bad in your life, what you can keep, what you can't keep. And I think that, and it goes hand in hand with our devotion this morning, faith. A lot of times we look at things that we keep failing at, or things that we've done, or things that we're wrestling with that we're doing a good job of keeping at bay, but we're still it's still there. And that's when we get questioned. That's when we question ourselves, or other people can even question. So man, I can't do this. And my argument is, and what I've literally asked myself is, what are you going to do? You going to quit?
Yeah.
You going to quit being a Christian? You going to quit, loving God? And then what? You've already admitted that Jesus is Lord, and you believe that. I do. You believe that, and that's when faith is really strong for me. I remember one time, if I just put it into much simpler terms, I remember one time I was taking a test in college, and I was about to freak out. I've had anxiety, but you ever had people that have anxiety on tests and they literally have panic attacks? Yeah. That almost happened during this test. But it didn't. But I remember thinking this. I can't remember sometimes what I have for breakfast, but I can remember something that happened. It's a weird thing. But I remember thinking in the middle of that test, I got to a problem, and I thought, dude, I'm going to fail this test. And I start freaking out. And then I remember asking myself the question, I'm like, what are you going to do? You going to quit? Is this it? You going to quit? Is this, you just going to walk out and then you've only got half your test done? It's a multiple choice test. What's the point of quitting? Just finish. And I finished, and I did okay. I did all right, and I actually got a good grade in the class. So take that and look at it where it really matters. Look at it in your walk with God. And when you get confronted with these things, or when you confront yourself in the mirror and you sit there and you think, man, I can't do, look what I've done, look who I am, look what I struggle with, I can't do this. Ask yourself the question, are you going to quit? Why would you quit? You admitted that Jesus is the Father. Are you just going to accept a life as a sinner and just be that sinner? Or are you going to be what God's called you to be? You know what I mean? It's very inspirational and it's very uplifting when you think about that. You realize, I cannot quit God. Look at everything He's done for me. Look what I have. Look what I wouldn't have without. What would I have without Him? You know what I mean? You can't think like that, guys. You have to be able to press on. And that's a gut check moment. And sometimes I've had many of them where I'm sitting and I'm just like, man, look at, wow. Look at who I am. And look, you know, but then you sit back and you're like, well, yeah, but look who I used to be. And, you know, look what happens if I don't choose God. Look what I get. I choose God, I get this. And, you know, and then you start to really buy into it. And then you just start to really, man, grace is so awesome. Look, God, you are so awesome. Look at everything you've done for me. You realize that you can't live a life without the Father. He's got you. You know what I mean? You have to pay it all. You have to pay it all to Him, and then you're in it. And then when you start adopting that sort of mindset, you really start to kind of see just what type of life you're in. And it's not a bad life. It is a wonderful life. It doesn't mean it comes free without struggle. It's not going to happen. You're going to have struggle, but that's the part we're trying to get to today. We're trying to get you to build your faith up and get it as strong as it can possibly be.
Yeah, and remember those times when God does something, when God really comes through for you and does something. Remember those times, just like Israel did, just like Noah did. Every time God really came through for him, He said, "Hey, remember this. Set up an altar. Remember this. Do this." So make a conscious effort when God comes through for you. Make a conscious effort to remember that time that God came through, and don't forget it, because remember, He is faithful.
Amen.
And I love that.
It's true, and that's the other thing, is when you're confronted with those times, just like he said, remember the times. Don't forget the times when He's come through for you, because you'll be confronted, rest assured, with another event in your life, and you're like, God, what in the world? And then you look back, think about what God did for you on this date at this time in this situation, and you're like, oh, well, He didn't fail me then. Why would He fail me now? You know, and it's not like you have to sit here and use this as bartering chips. God is going to come through for you no matter what, as long as you do things according to His will and you have faith in Him. That's going to happen. But let's be honest, our brains are not equipped to think like the Lord's are. I mean, we're not. We have to have those moments where we sit back and we think about, okay, what in the world, you know? And you don't need all the answers. I was listening to a podcast on the way, somewhere yesterday in my car, and I remember we were talking about being put in the hallway. And how you get put in the hallway doesn't mean the Lord's going to put you right at the door you need to open, but He's going to get you in the hallway. Have faith that God has faith in you, that if you're doing things according to His will, He's going to put you in the right spot at the right time, okay? It doesn't mean that you're going to have all the answers, but He does, and have faith in knowing that. You know what I mean? It's good stuff.
Don't
man.
stand in the hallway and say, well, God's not leading me, I ain't going to do nothing. Put it, what would have happened? We could have said this. Let's go back live on the podcast. What would have happened if Noah said, well, I'm waiting for God to lead, and God says, build a boat. Well, I'm really waiting for God to open that door for me to build a boat.
Yep.
And God said, hey, man, build a boat. Don't just stand in the hallway and say, well, I'm waiting on God. Read His Word. Talk to God. I can guarantee God's not going to tell you to do something that is not in Scripture.
There you go.
So if you're just wandering around aimlessly, find something in Scripture to do. Tell somebody about Jesus Christ. Brag on Him. Do something found in Scripture until you know exactly what it is. But you proclaim God, and all the rest will be given to you.
Think about how stories in the Bible have worked in the past. You go back and you look at them, and you think about how God has allowed people to succeed based off of what they perceived as failures themselves. Like, you think about times when people were most shamed. They were so shamed, but it was all made okay in the end, and it can be the same for you. It will be the same for you. Look at Peter. Look at Peter. You will deny me 3 times. He knew it.
Yep.
He knew it was coming. But, that doesn't mean that so if you fail, guys, if you do something that you are so ashamed of, and you have that moment, and believe me, I know you're sitting back like, God, how could I do this? I'm such a failure. I suck so much. I just can't. Guys, everything, God knew what you were going to do before you woke up this morning. So don't sit here and act like, and I know it's hard for us to sit here and it's easy for us to sit here and just tell you these things, and then for you to go out there and just do them. I've been there, done that. I can sit there and tell you something. I can be confronted with something when I walk out of this door, and I can have my own moment. But I have growing as a Christian means that you get increasingly better and better and better, and being able to basically minister to yourself and witness to yourself, like, you know what, I've fallen short, but this is happening for a reason right now. I'm going to get better from this. Chains are going to be broken. I will learn from this, and I will be better. And you will just see, oh man, it's so powerful. It really is. Just look, open up that Bible. There is example upon example in there about how God is not done with people just because they fall short. God has a plan for all of us, every single one of us. You cannot deny it.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Perfect. He used murderers.
Come on, dude.
He used liars. He used thieves, crooks. He used everybody. It's almost like God says, that is really cool, He uses those who are low,
yes,
and humble.
Yes.
Because the opposite is that, you know what? The New Testament was written in Koine Greek for a reason. Koine Greek was the common Greek. The princes, the kings, they didn't, I mean, they could read it, but they also had read this other form of Greek, which predominant people had. Koine Greek was written in a manner where the common people knew it.
Yes.
And that's why the New Testament was written in it, because God came, He didn't come to seek and to save those who are full of pride.
Right.
And it was me.
Right.
And that's not it. God does not call them people. God redundantly, His Scripture is filled with people who were poor and low in spirit. He goes to the well, to the lady who had been married 5 times, and says, now go tell. And an entire town is witness to, because a lady who was so ashamed that, you know, of her, what she had done, that now she's going to the well at noon. I've been in the desert. That's not when you go to the well. You don't go at the hottest part of the day.
Right.
But she was so ashamed. She was at her lowest point in her life, and yet Jesus went to her.
And
you
now,
know?
see that.
And then immediately uses her.
Yes, and that's why, guys, and that's just one of so many. I'm telling you, so many examples, guys. You are not done. What is it that Corey Furlow puts on the? He put such inspirational stuff on Iron Sharpens Iron. But he said, he literally, I think it was day before yesterday, he put up a post that said, if you're reading this, God's not done with you yet. You're still here. God is not done with you yet. You are still breathing. God is not done with you. I don't care where you are, what you've done, what your mindset is. God can still work and move in your life.
Yeah.
You just need to accept Him, guys, and He will not lead you astray. He will not leave you hanging.
That's
I'm
good.
telling you. It is good stuff. And we're not, I know it sounds like we can get redundant with the message. What's the thing about it? The message don't change, guys. There's just different stories we can tell. The message is still the message. The gospel is still the gospel. You are not done. You're never done, okay? If you just keep on pressing on and work on that faith. That's what we're talking about this morning, is working on that faith, building that faith, and then being bold in it. You know, even when you can say with a quivering voice and you're just so scared to death, that's fine. That's fine. But when you can say the words, I still have faith in my Father, that's when you're getting somewhere. Even when you just have to believe it. That's all.
Yeah.
You're gonna have so many things happen in this world, in this life, and you know the Lord's never done with you. You still are in this. You most certainly are. Just remember, like Paul said, that when you come out of that valley, give Him the praise He deserves.
Yeah.
Give Him the glory, and then store that, because get ready. You just like, because He's never done with you, you're always on guard in this world. This world's fleeting. You know what? You have something that you can look forward to. But while you're here, you're going to constantly have challenges.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So what are you doing today? We want to know, what are you doing today? I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it looks like, maybe you're going to work right now. Maybe you're driving around. Maybe you're just going to the store. How are you going to be bold in your faith today?
Yes.
Because that's what it's about. Noah did it for a century, day after day after day. Even ridicule, pain. Noah did it for an entire century. He showed up for God.
That's right.
What are you doing today to show up for God? And that's what we want you to do. Go out today and do something for God. Brag on Jesus Christ today to somebody. And then, you know what? Spread that positivity. Let us know about it. You're not doing it for personal gain. You're doing it to spread positivity, because we want to start this movement again, where it's not about self, but it's about Jesus Christ alone. And we've got to do that. We've got to stop playing games with society, because I don't know. Jesus says in Matthew, just as in the days of Noah, so will it be before the Son of Man returns. I don't know how bad exactly it was in Noah's age. I mean, he says the heart of every man was wicked. Have you looked at society recently? Look at some of the stuff that It's acceptable. That's acceptable. And I'm telling you, we're running out of time. So, brag on God.
Yes.
Brag on Jesus Christ. Tell those friends, go out and spread Him.
Yeah.
We love you.
We do. We love you so much. We'll see you Wednesday. Stay tuned. Got a lot of good stuff coming your way. That devotional book is going to drop soon.
It's going to drop.
It's going to drop. We're
It's
excited
good.
about that. And thank you guys for being in attendance this morning. God bless you. Be bold in the faith today.
See you on Wednesday. Love you guys. Bye.